let's see. Looks like we're live now. What are we at? Wednesday, August 4th. Hopefully, should be a good day. I was talking to co-creator yesterday. He told me sometimes I didn't realize it takes a while for people to actually log in, because I guess there's like a commercial you got to watch before you get in. So I told him I'd kind of kill some time before I started getting going in the morning. But good morning, everybody. I hope my mic and everything sounds good. I had some infiltrators in here yesterday. I don't know if anyone caught that video. I know a couple of you did. I got some messages on Twitter and you know, what is this? Hold on. There we go. Yeah, all my settings are kind of messed up. So yesterday, I don't know if anyone saw that video, but my youngest son and one of my buddy's daughters were here, and they were messing around on my computer and they actually uploaded a video to my YouTube yesterday afternoon. I think probably about 3 o'clock my time, and I immediately, got some text messages and phone calls. Hey, go check your YouTube channel. Looks like you got hijacked. So I think it got like 40 views too. But it was my fault. I left everything open on the computer. It was all in good fun. But anyways, good morning, guys. Michael, I saw you here already earlier. Scotty's in the house. Good morning, Scotty. Who else? 6'8" Spindrift. What's up? Good morning. John Doe. Yeah, Michael said don't forget to hit the like button for sure. That helps. Helps support the channel. Let's see. Joseph's here. Thomas. Ooh, Thomas says Gensler came out this morning and said they're looking into the dark pool. Well, that would be awesome because I know even yesterday, I think Clove had like 57% of the transactions were in the dark pool. So, I mean, it's definitely getting out of hand and getting beyond what its original intention was supposed to be for. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully they start getting it done. I know he also said that, that someone had asked him about like cryptocurrency. I saw something yesterday and his response was, while he thinks that's something that's worth looking into, he wanted to get to the bottom of, more stuff relating to kind of like the GameStop saga and everything around that, which I would say includes, obviously AMC, but also Clove and a lot of these other, heavily manipulated stocks that retail's kind of getting screwed over on. So it does seem like he's saying the right things. I just would love to see some action. All right, let's see. So Joseph, I see you here. Louis, good morning. Levi, what's up? Justin, yeah, 50%, and it's been that way. Like most stocks, if you look up, it's not usually that much, but and we'll go through and compare some of that right now. I'll just show you kind of what I'm looking at. Godfather, yeah, looking into it's not good enough. I agree. John's here. Soft Bunnies, good morning. SMJ, Michael says, what exactly are you looking into? Yeah, so like this website right here, I'll just pull it up while we're in pre-market. So this is a free website. It's called Chart Exchange. It only gives you, from what I could tell, the day before's data. But you could see right here that, 57% of the activity yesterday was dark pool, and the average for Clove is 55% on the last 30 days. But I mean, if we just go take a look at, let's say, like Apple, I mean, even that's 50%. So it seems like that dark pool stuff is almost like a market wide. You know, it's not something that's just happening with these heavily manipulated. Here's Disney with more of like a 40%, 37% on a 30-day average. But I mean, like I said, Clove was 57. If we look at GME, 61% of their volume has been coming through the dark pool, or at least was yesterday. And then AMC, 61% through the dark pool. So you could definitely see that, some of these meme stocks are getting a little bit more manipulated in the dark pool with way more volume going through. I think there was one day where like AMC was like 90% of the total volume or something crazy like that. But Chef Daddy's here. What's up, Chef Daddy? Haven't seen you in a couple days. I know you said you've been busy. Um, let's see here. Rich, good morning. Levi, good morning. That thought coach uploaded an emergency video, so I got the notification, clicked the video, and immediately started laughing. Yeah, no, I was laughing too. I think it was Ego actually. So I got a phone call on Discord from Ego, and I was like, "What the hell?" And then right when I looked at it, I picked up my phone, and saw a bunch of text messages, from different people. Just like, "Hey, I think you got your YouTube hijacked." Um, but yeah, I was laughing about it. At first I tried to make the video, I guess, unlisted or private. I don't know what I'm doing, but I figured like, I don't want to delete it. I wanted to show my wife. And so I left it up there, but I made it private or unlisted. I don't know what the difference is, but then I went back and looked, and it was still getting views, and I'm like, oh man, because then I was talking to co-creator, and I'm like, hey man, is that video still up? And he was like, yeah, I could still see it. So then I went in and deleted it, but it was funny. They were just messing around. Yeah, Thomas, I agree. It's not really that the dark pool is an issue. I mean, I understand why dark pools exist and why they were created. The problem is it's being abused, right? I mean, it's the dark pool's supposed to be used, in a perfect world for someone who wants to sell, a big institution that wants to unload a portion of their shares without, drastically driving down the stock price, or in that sort of thing. But it shouldn't be used for, routing retail orders through, or allowing big institutions to manipulate stock prices, or market makers to manipulate stock prices. So, but unfortunately, I just feel like, when it comes to the stock market and pretty much anything, it's like if you give people an inch, they're going to take a mile, right? So it's kind of that thing where there's just too many loopholes that exist, and maybe it should be. I don't know. They got to figure something out. Enforcement, regulation, just more oversight. But there's got to be something there. I don't think they'll ever get rid of dark pools altogether, because they do serve a purpose. And unfortunately, you would see, if you got rid of it, yeah, it would make everything completely transparent. But then at the same time, now you would have a big institution or someone who, you know, I gave the example of, let's say I own 10 million shares of my own company, and I just want to take some profit, and I want to, offload 500,000 shares, which is what, less than 5% of my stake. Um, you know, if I tried to do that on the open market, um, a couple things are going to happen. Like, one, you're going to basically, everybody else out there, all the sharks out there, are going to see and be like, oh, Coach B's trying to unload his company, and they're going to beat me to it, as I'm slowly trying to get off the shares, because I don't want to tank the share price of my own company. So I would have to like slowly just start selling them into the market, and other people would see that and prey on that, and then you'd start seeing FUD articles coming out that I'm dumping all my shares, and next thing you know, the share price would tank. Or I would have to just get rid of them quick, but then that would tank the share price too. So, I mean, that's kind of why those dark pools were originally created, was that so I can, anonymously go in, unload my 500,000 shares, and then obviously go file my report and say, hey, look, I sold 5% of my company, but I'm still own 5% of my stake in this company, but I still own 95%. It's not like I'm losing faith. Maybe I need to pay some taxes, or I want to go buy a vacation home, or whatever it may be. But I don't know, rich people problems, I guess, right? Hopefully we'll be there one day. Let's see. So Dennis says, good morning, soon to be Dr. B. Yeah. Um, Not soon enough. I can't wait to be done with school. I feel like I've been going for so long now. Um, William, what's up? Good morning. Co-creators in the house. What's up? That was great talking to you. I actually got to speak to co-creator. We've been texting and talking, chatting offline, but all through like DMs and stuff. And yesterday we actually got the opportunity to talk on the phone, and that was awesome. It was really great talking to you, bro. Franklin Boyd, what's up? Good morning. Um, Gunslinger says good morning. SEC's only worried about crypto right now because that brings in tax revenue. Yeah, but that's not what they're saying, right? So I mean, Gensler said he wants to look into this retail thing, and I think the worst thing he could have done was put together that Twitter account because he's just been getting hammered on there, and I think that's going to continue. I don't know if it's him actually reading the tweets, but um, he's been getting hammered on there ever since he created that Twitter account. I think what like last week. Um, let's see here. Oh, okay. Chef Daddy said had some friends in town from Colorado. Get caught up on the Chalk Talks. Yeah. So, if you guys, I guess I should probably just let you guys know too. So, what I'm trying to do is, the next thing that I really wanted to get into with like the market manipulation and really break down was kind of like how they're able to hide those FTDs through married puts. But before we get to that, I gotta kind of like, I feel like I want to explain like what a put contract is, what a call contract is, and so once we sign off today, I'm gonna make one on what a put contract is, and then after that, I'll start getting into more like the market manipulation and explaining how they're able to do that through the use of option contracts. But I felt like to really get in there and break that down, everyone's got to have a good understanding of like what a call contract is and what a put contract is. So that's where I'm heading with it. I'm just trying to find the time to slowly like get the introductory level stuff out of the way, and I hope it's making sense. Obviously that all that stuff would be a lot better, with animations and all that kind of stuff, but I just, time wise, it's easier to just hit record and start talking. Um, let's see. Yeah, co-creator said it was funny. Yeah, I got a kick out of it too, and like I said, I know I told you I downloaded the video, uh, you know, just so that I could show my wife. I didn't get a chance to show her yesterday. Um, let's see. I'll try to catch up here. William, what's up? Good morning. Ego, good morning. Um, Hago says co-creator sounds like your doctor needs the Clover assistant. Um. All right, so I think I'm caught up with most of the chats. I know sometimes I might skip over some of them, but it kind of seems like you guys are just talking to each other, and that's good too. All right, so let's see here. What's going on this morning? Clove. We finished yesterday at 812. We're trading at 810 right now. Nothing major, or at least two major in the pre-market. If we kind of zoom out a little bit, we've kind of just been bouncing around between this 818 level and 812 yet level. Yesterday we got some great news. I mean, they partnered with the company. I think it was Value H out of Florida, and that should have equaled a rise in the stock price. I mean, Florida is a huge state, and it's also a retirement state, which puts it, for me, perfect position for Clove to kind of expand, especially with their DC model, which they could make more money off of. And it seems like that's what that whole announcement was all about. And that also gets more lives into their Clover assistant software, which is going to be huge for the potential growth there. So we saw right when that announcement came out at 6 o'clock, what a bounce from 824 all the way up to 860, about 10 minutes into the market open. And then the stock just kind of got hit downwards and continued downwards on the rest of the day. But again, we did not even touch below 8, and one thing that I keep talking about, and I think is huge, is just that no matter what keeps happening with Clove, um, we've been able to stay above $8 now. They haven't been able to pin us below 8. We've dropped down below 8 multiple times, intraday, but we're able to continuously close above 8. And I was looking at this this morning before the stream even happened. Um, this 9-day EMA, we've been kind of getting pinned underneath. Um, like we touched above it on July 21st, ended up, closing below, really got above it on the 22nd, closed below. And we've kind of been, I think once we kind of break out of that, we did get the green on the MACD the other day. RSI is still completely, in this oversold range, but I think our first step might be, getting a nice close above this 9 EMA. And even if you look back, I mean, some of this stuff is obviously, who knows, but the last time we were able to close above this green line that we're looking at here, this 9-day EMA, was back on May 27th. And that's also kind of when the MACD started crossing over, and you could see what happened after that is when we really started to get our run. So things are starting to trend in the right direction, I feel like, and we really, I know I talked about this in my last video, but looking at the weekly view, yeah, it's been rough since that way back there in June, early June, but we did have 2 green weeks in a row, and there's still 3 more days left this week. I'd love to see another green week here. Even though we're not gaining tremendous amounts, it still shows, that we're moving in a positive direction. And I like to be optimistic, because I'm not going nowhere with this stock. It's just a matter of, it's fun to sit here and follow it every day. And I really think we have the potential to explode, at any moment. So that's what I'm hoping for. Let me pull back up this four up chart, and then we'll start looking at some of this other stuff. Get this set back up. And there. AMC this morning, just while we're looking at it, I'll zoom out here, but closed yesterday at what, $33 around there, 33.59. Hit as low as 32.25 early this morning. 440. Bounced off it again at like around 5 a.m. and it's been on an upward trend ever since. So, I also noticed, so AMC's looking to open the day up at least a little bit after being down a lot. And GameStop did kind of break through VWAP, but not a lot of volume in there. Looking at the CLOV volume right now, just since we're talking volume, looks like 246,000, which is more than we've seen in I got to get this to stay on this. It keeps moving on me. That's more than we've seen in recent days. Yesterday, I think we opened up with about 400,000 volume, but all that poured in right around 6 a.m. So we'll see. Looks like we got some volume increasing today. The S&P 500, just to kind of I like to look at the SPY to see what the overall market's doing. It did finish yesterday at 441, and it's looking down right now. It hit a low of 439, so down about $2. But sometimes, these things could work out. And I know if you've been watching the streams for these last couple months, sometimes you get this gap down in the SPY, and all of a sudden that means it's just going to rip up and fill the gap. And that could be good. It's going to draw our stocks up with it. Or if it continues lower, it's going to start drawing these down. So we just got to kind of see how it plays out. Let me get back to the chat real quick. Co-creator says, I wish my doctor had the Clover Assistant. Michael, Florida equals blue hair heaven. Coach B, do you think we will see much price movement before earnings? So, I mean, we have in about another week now, right? Really tough to say. Like, I mean, there's some stocks that will, slowly kind of climb up leading into earnings if the expectation is that earnings will be good. And with, my assumption with Clove is that earnings are going to be better than they have been, because of the growth and the expansion and everything else. So we should be able to beat on some earnings. And I think that might be the speculation of a lot of institutional investors as well. I mean, you've been seeing institutional investors piling into this stock recently. So, um, I would say we'd probably creep up a little into earnings. Sometimes, when you have an overvalued stock, it'll usually kind of slide downwards before earnings. Um, just because people don't want to get burned if there's a big drop afterwards. But when you're as undervalued as CLOV is, and we're like right at the bottom right now, we're trading at $8, and that seems to be our base. I would imagine we'll kind of like slightly creep up a little bit into earnings next week. But then again, like any sort of upward price momentum could potentially, be the kickoff to the next gamma squeeze or anything else. So, I mean, this could happen any day. Could be something where we have to wait until after earnings to actually see the stock explode. Um, could be a couple months from now. I mean, there's really no way to tell when you're talking about a stock that's this manipulated. We talked about the amount of money that's coming in through the dark pool. Just looking at the failure to delivers, we covered that a little bit yesterday. I think it was almost at there was 19 million on one day in early June, and those just disappeared out of thin air without any sort of upward price action. When the average volume on the stock was basically trading around 20 to 30 million at the time. So definitely some crazy stuff going on with this stock, and because of that, this could happen at any time. It could be a day from now, a week from now, or months from now. We just got to kind of let it play out. There was something I was gonna and here's just to look at, just kind of keep an update. But we look at the short volume here. We're basically you know been 30% of the volume coming in, 35% yesterday, 31 the day before. We saw 50 all the way back to July 22nd, but that's the amount of volume coming in on this stock. That's just short interest, just shorts, short volume, people shorting the stock. So, like I said, heavily manipulated, and yeah, I mean, that which makes it, I guess that what I'm getting at is this could really pop at any time. It really could. It's just a matter of what's gonna be that thing that pushes us there. It looked like yesterday early on it could have been that announcement about the Florida thing, but then they hammered the stock back down again. So when that happens, they're just kind of digging themselves a deeper hole. They're pushing the coil springs a little bit tighter and a little bit tighter, and it's just gonna make for a bigger explosion when it happens. That's my take on it, at least. Michaels is saying, looks like we're seeing resistance around 806. And shit, there's a lot of support right now at 808. It looks like 30,000 shares, a 30,000 share buy order sitting at 808 right now. Because remember, if we, I don't know if you guys could even see this if it's too small, but basically on the Thinkorswim level 2, that represents blocks of 100 shares. So it's showing 309 as the amount, and yeah, that was a huge kind of buy wall sitting there. So we definitely have some support sitting down here right now. Nini, what's up? Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. DJ Tardis, what's up? What's going on? Good morning. Yeah, Thomas, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Thomas says I had an assumption that shorts would taper as we got closer to earnings, but it doesn't look like that. I was kind of thinking that, maybe some of these shorts would kind of slowly start pulling away as we started creeping closer and closer to earnings, and that still could be the case. I mean, it really comes to, like, depending on how big your short position is, right? And we're talking about people who are probably short this stock, 500,000 shares, a million shares. I mean, even just looking at Ortex data, if you pull it up, I mean, reported shorts, just in the data that Ortex collects, is showing that there's what, 42 million shares on loan right now. So, I mean, that's quite a lot. So if you're into this stock, let's say you're short 2 million shares, 3 million shares, it's hard to get out of that position without driving the stock up, right? Or at least it should be. So, even if they are tapering out and just start kind of slowly trying to ease out 100,000 here, 100,000 there, you still have to do that in small blocks unless you're able to do it through the dark pool. Um, but even then, it would be hard to get out through the dark pool if there's nobody willing to sell in the dark pool, right? That means you'd have to have someone on the other side of the trade that's willing to give you 100,000 shares or 1,000,000 shares. So, um, I think at this position, I mean, 42 million shares, that's a lot. And it would, them even trying to taper out and creep out would drive this price higher. But that's when they want to do it, right? They want to do it when the stock's down here. When we're trading at 809, maybe they can get out a couple, like 10,000 shares, and it pushes it higher, and then maybe they can get out another 10,000. But all that buying is going to do is just drive the price up. Ego says closed out a penny stock position, got more dry powder for CLOV. Absolutely, and this is a great time to buy. I mean, I think we're down at the bottom right now. Me personally. Robinhood app is listing earnings per share release being available or released after hours on the 9th. Okay, maybe I'm wrong there. I was thinking it was on the 11th. I know I do have. Let's see here. See, like my Thinkorswim is saying August 11th, right up here. I don't know if you guys could see that. Um, but that could be that they're going to do an announcement earlier or something along those lines. I have no idea. That's just the information that I have. Um, Looks like GameStop just broke through VWAP a little bit and is now looking to open up higher. As I know, I kind of mentioned, AMC is also now looking to open the day. Um, yeah, gap up a little bit. So CLOV, we're trading somewhat flat. We closed yesterday at 812, and we're right around 812 right now. We are 2 minutes before the open. We should hear the bell again. I know I got the. I know you. I think you guys said you heard that yesterday, but my TD Ameritrade app actually does the opening bell and the closing bell. John Doe asks, well, okay, I see co-creator answered, but will earnings be pre-market or after? I want to say it's after, but last time they did it in the morning, they did it pre-market. Let's see here. Okay, Ego says August 11th, 5 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, so that'll be like right after the market closes, about an hour after the market closes. All right, I think Rehan says most critical is we need transparency, period. And unless we get clarity, we have no idea what's going on. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, okay. Co-creator saying August earnings are August 9th for AMC. Yeah. Clove is the 11th. But now Rehan saying before the market opens. Damn, that was hella loud. Had my volume turned up too much. That was the kids messing around on my computer yesterday. But anyways, yeah, I agree with you, Rayhan, that we definitely need transparency in the market. I mean, even if they keep the dark pools active, we still need to be able to know what the hell's going on. Let me see here. There was something that I wanted to do at market open. All right. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. I'm trying to buy a little bit of this clove dip right now if I can. I got some dry powder in this morning. Um, I just want to make sure I can take care of this. So where are we at? I'm gonna come. right. Okay, looks like I got filled. All right, I'm in. I think I'm in. Yeah, I got filled. Okay. All right. Where we at? Okay, so it looks like CLOV. Yeah, I mean, we're still looking at a 5-minute candle here. Um, Looks like this opening range right now is what, between 806 and 816, so about 10 cents. Between what we went down to and what we opened at. But again, this is only 2 minutes in, so um, we'll kind of see how this plays out. Matter of fact, let's look at a 1 minute just so we can kind of see exactly what's happening. So it looked like, we went up, or we started here, dropped down, rallied upwards again and got pushed down, and but we did have that support 806 right now. That seems to be what, 13,000 order here, and so we do have kind of a little bit of a buy wall set up. It seems like they're going to maybe try to push this thing down, but if we can hold through it, maybe we'll see another rally back upwards. Gingivitis said just drop some more on it too. Feeling good. Yeah. I don't know what I got filled at. I don't want to sit here and stare at my other monitor right now, but I know I got in below 816, so I'm in. What are we looking at here? Levi's saying, what's going on with Hood? What is it, taking off again? That's talk. I remember we were talking about. Oh yeah, it is. They're trying to pump the shit out of this. I think what they're really trying to do is, if we just zoom out and kind of look at the let's see. Let me pull up like an hourly chart on this. We had talked about staying away from Hood and not knowing what was going to happen, and but I mean shit. It came in at 37 and went down to 33. I think that was kind of a bear trap to scare, to make everybody feel like, oh yeah, see, I knew short and Hood was the play, and they want all us retail people to go in and short the shit out of the stock. And now look, you would be getting squeezed out double. I mean, so if you actually jumped on a short position somewhere in here on Hood, you would have started to make some money, maybe jumped on a little bit more, like, oh yeah, this stock's gonna go to zero. And now they're just going to pump the absolute shit out of it and squeeze out all the retailers that shorted it. That's my take. Um, I think this stock will fall at some point, but who knows? They also released options on this today. So, puts may not be a bad play now. At least with puts, you got fixed risk. You can go in and buy a put contract against it. And what are we looking at here? And if it does drop, you'll be able to bank a little cash on that, and then if not, you're out. DraftKings looks like it's jumping up. So CLOV, we hit a bottom of 801. Let me zoom in a little bit. So we hit a bottom of 801. Looks like maybe we're ready to rally back a little bit. GameStop trade. This is a 5-minute. This is the only 1-minute candle, just for anyone who's looking. So 1 minute here. Everything else I have set on 5-minute. Yeah, co-creator said it's a trap. It's a trap. Yeah, no, I think so. You know, ooh, Target short sellers in the house, says he doubled his position today on Clove. Right on, got that dry powder coming in. I saw you tweeting about it. Um, yeah, even Levi says even the options are insanely overpriced. I'm gonna check it out just to see what it is. Didn't these options just get released today too for IV to already be 195%? Um, so I mean, it's trading. It's about to blow out the option chain right now, and let me see here. There's not even any open interest, so this just opened today. Um, So I mean, shit. If you, oh yeah, look at that though. It's not even insane. They're just trying to take advantage of people. The ask on this is $10. All this kind of stuff. They're just looking for people who don't know what they're doing to go in and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy some puts and pay $11 for this $55 put. I mean, to put that in perspective, that means you need the stock to drop down to what, $44 by the end of the week. I mean, this is just way too manipulated. I wouldn't touch this stock at all. Let's see here. Levi says Robinhood hit a circuit breaker. Damn. Yeah. I'm staying away from that one. Looks like GameStop's pumping up a little bit. And just looking around at some of the other ones. What do we got? What's on my watch list? Zoom is one that I was looking at yesterday and maybe kind of, as a long-term play to get in as like, this Delta variant is supposedly coming back. And, I know they have earnings at the end of the month and, potentially more people working from home with COVID kind of coming back. I was thinking about buying some calls on Zoom. It looks like it's up 2% right now on the day, but that's on my watch list right now. Something I may jump on as a long term, like go find some calls later on today and jump in as a long term kind of lotto ticket type play to see if it takes off. Looks like ATOS is up 2% as well. AVXL, not much movement, kind of flat. SOS up 3%. DraftKings is moving, but we have that on the charts right here, up 1%. The one stock, why is it not? Let me see here. BNGO is going to have earnings today after hours. Typically, this stock will move up to 10% post earnings. And I really feel like it's kind of bottoming out where it's at right now. So I'm expecting a big move upwards in that one. You guys that have been watching know I've been kind of on BNGO for a while now. So I'd love to see some big movement there. So in terms of CLOV, it looks like still getting kind of this downward pressure. A lot of times it's hard to tell what's happening with the stock too early on like this, first 10 minutes or so. You got to kind of let things play out, let the opening range kind of get established. Then see, Scotty, what's up? John Doe says the Lambda variant. What do we got here? GameStop. Is there any sort of news on that, or? I know I didn't see any this morning. Just going to get my news ticker over here so I could look at it. There we go. But, GameStop, going back to yesterday, let me just zoom out a little bit, saw a huge run up right at the end of the day. I mean, it hit down as low as like 148, and you could see like right in the last 15, 20 minutes, took off all the way up to 157 and then just got absolutely hammered down from a high of almost 159 down to 151 just in that last 5 minutes of the day. So looks like Robinhood's back up and it is flying. And what you might be seeing here with Robinhood is a short squeeze, but the opposite, like retail short squeeze. So I mean, think about stop losses. If you bought a stock and a stock drops and you have a stop loss set, then you're going to get automatically sold out of that stock. So if a bunch of retail did pile into this stock and short it, and like I said, they created somewhat kind of a bear trap back there when they made it look like, oh yeah, look, see, we all knew it. Robinhood's going to tank. Robinhood's going to tank. And now a bunch of retailers went in and shorted this stock because they didn't have options available on this stock, remember? So what ends up happening, right? So now all these, because you couldn't buy puts, people probably jumped in and shorted this, and there's unlimited losses on the short position. So People might have had stop losses set at, okay, well, if this hits 60, I'm getting out. Someone else's stop loss might have been set at 65, whatever it may be. And now you have, these people come in here and pump the shit out of this stock. And now you're getting all these stop losses going in the opposite way. And that's basically what a short squeeze is. But I would imagine this is probably retail getting squeezed out of this stock right now. I hope that's not the case, but that's kind of what my inclination is that this is a bunch of retail getting squeezed out right now. And yeah, so Levi says Robinhood hit its second circuit breaker. That's I mean, when you see like a true short squeeze, to me, that's how you can kind of tell that you're getting that type of momentum where people are getting stop lossed out. On the last big run up with CLOV, we didn't hit any circuit breakers, but we went up ridiculously. And to me, that was more gamma squeeze because that's just natural algorithms buying, 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 and just buying it up, right? But with like GameStop on some of the original run ups, or even right now with Robinhood, where you're seeing this stock is now up 64%. When you get these violent upward moves and these circuit breakers, usually that's because, you know, people are getting their stop losses out and they're just putting in market buy orders now to get out of their position. And those market orders driving up is going to make it increase so much higher, and that's when you end up seeing these circuit breakers. Basically, whenever you see a change of direction in any way, up or down, of more than 10%, I think in a minute, I believe. So yeah, it was on circuit breaker from 635 to 640, and then back on circuit breaker again. How much you want to bet? I guarantee you, the news articles are going to be saying that it was retail, that this was the Wall Street bets darling, that everybody on Wall Street bets is the ones that are pumping the stock, when it's probably the exact opposite. Um, let's see here. I'm just looking. It just says Robinhood stock is soaring. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Levi, you're right. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch it either. It's just the puts are going to be too expensive, and you're probably going to see a rug pull. In this, like now that they got this stock, running up like this, they're maybe they're going to attract some FOMO retail buyers that are thinking, hey, I just want to jump on board with them if they're pumping this stock up. And now people are going to be jumping in and they're going to pull the rug and it's going to go in the absolute opposite direction. I just think this is way too manipulated, especially when you have payment for order flow and basically the big boys get to see exactly what orders retail are putting in before they place them. So just stay out. Let's see here. Bart says, Coach, your voice goes well with this coffee morning jazz YouTube channel I'm playing along with you. Kind of sounds like Peanut soundtrack, but makes the dips more enjoyable. Right on. I'm glad it's working for you. Um, let's see here. So GameStop, you know, looks like, what are we looking at volume wise on GameStop? That ain't shit. 65,000, 67,000. So I mean, volume's still dry as hell, but it is climbing upwards. And let's see here, Clove. I'll switch back to a 5 minute now. We hit a low at 8, bounced off it. We see a lot of buying pressure coming in here at 802. Seems like a lot of orders, built up. What is that? 9,000 shares, 2,500 shares, 1,400, but it's all at that 802 mark. So it does seem like we have the support. We've continued to have the support every time we've came down and hit 8. So not too worried about this. I think that we'll eventually kind of bounce off this and start skyrocketing back up in the other direction. Um, Let me take a look real quick and see what's going on in other places. VIH, Dan, I don't know if you're listening. I didn't buy any VIH yet, but I did look into it, and I still think it'd be a pretty decent lotto ticket type play. And that one, it's up. I guess it looks a little bit different than what it actually is. It looks like some big green bars, but it's only up four pennies on the day. Um, Zoom is still rising, 2.3%. Um, Nothing doing with BNGO. I was thinking it was going to have a nice day leading up to earnings, but that might be tomorrow when it actually pops. Um, and the S&P 500 still down $1.44. So not too much happening. And here we go. Robinhood is coming down. I mean, I could see it maybe bouncing off one of these support lines and continuing to rise up, but I don't know. What happened to my AMC? I got too many tickers I'm watching now. AMC up about 1% on the day. GameStop basically the same. So it looks like, everything's kind of following that same trend. If you look at DraftKings, kind of popped up, coming down to VWAP, maybe following finding some support here. And same thing with GameStop. It's trying to hold above VWAP right now. Anyways, let me get back over here. So heck, that Hood halted. Time for Hood to place a no buy on Hood. You know what? Can you imagine if they did a no sell? Like we won't let you get out. It starts falling, and they make all the people that are on their app actually stay in and just let it fall down. I know someone had reported that. I think they did something where, like, if you were on the Robinhood app and you wanted to be part of the Robinhood IPO, you could. But if you sold the stock within a certain amount of days, might have been like 90, you could no longer get in on IPOs through their app anymore. So basically, they would let you sell, but if you did, then they weren't going to let you get in on any other IPOs. Which, a lot of these IPOs, usually what happens is bigger money can get in early, and then they could dump once it opens to retail and dump their bags. But the funny thing about that is Vlad and some other insiders of Robinhood actually sold on the first day of the IPO. So they're telling their users and the people that they're giving access to the IPO to that they can't sell within a certain amount of days, and they all dumped some shares right off the open and took advantage of it. So just terrible. I would just stay away from that altogether. It's kind of fun to watch though, see what's going on. I can't believe it hit a high of 85. That's crazy. Looks like CLOV, we're getting back up above VWAP. Hopefully we can hold there and start our daily run, and maybe this time we'll be able to bust through it. Chef Daddy says WHLR is on a circuit breaker, and I'm sorry if I'm getting to this late. Oh yeah, shit. I'm probably late on that. I'm sorry, man. Is it still on circuit breaker? Yeah. I mean, shit. I don't know when you got in, but I would say it looks like maybe if it holds above VWAP right now, it could go up and hit another high. We're looking at a 1 minute candle here. Where it's climbed up. You got people selling, taking profits, and now we're gonna bang up again. But if you're gonna set a stop loss, I would maybe set it here at VWAP at about right below 417, so that if it falls below, you're out and you can take your profits depending on where you got in at. But it does look like it's starting to climb back up. And that would be my assumption, is if all of a sudden, it breaks above these candles, that it's gonna go look to try to break this high and keep running. Damn, Chef Daddy, you're always in on the big runners. Thoughts on mRNA? That's Moderna, right? I'm up 528%, but not sure I want to buy more at 386. I'm in at 61. I mean, without knowing much about it, I would say, I mean, you always, so that it sounds like you really like the stock and you're even thinking about adding on. I don't know. I mean, at that point, you're pretty safe to just hold it. If you'd like more, I don't know what your position is, but if you're up that much on something, to me, I always like to take a little bit of profits. But it sounds like you want to add on to your position. So, um, shit, you buy at 386, you're bringing your cost average up right now, but it really just feels like what you think the long term potential of the stock is. I don't know enough about it to really give any sort of advice like that. Me personally, when I'm up that much on something, I start to look to kind of take profits on it. Um, that would be my take. But then I also know, like, if you have a very small position and you want a bigger one, then you know it's hard to do that sometimes. You want to add on and buy more. Um, Citadel's Rick Godfather says Citadel's ready to front run your orders on Hood. Yeah, no shit. Um, so this Wheeler right here, Chef Daddy, I know I was late to it, but it did. It bounced off that and it caught a new high, and it's probably going to go on another run here. I would expect. Brooks says awfully convenient of Robinhood not halting the run up on Robinhood, don't you think? Well, so they don't actually have the ability to do that, right? So anytime a stock jumps more than 10%, and I think it's on a 1 minute candle, that's when it'll get halted. So it could jump more than 10%, but basically, what happens is, let's say, um, the stock came in here at this candle started at 399. 10% of $4 is what, 40 cents, and it ran up to 454. So that candle right there, 10%, it's gonna halt for 5 minutes. It should. And I believe that's where the halt there was, right? Yeah, so then it halted right here. And I mean that's just gonna happen automatically. That has nothing to do with the brokers, with Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, Schwab. That's like at the exchange, they're basically going to pull the plug and give everybody 5 minutes to kind of figure out if they want to buy back in, sell, anything like that. Damn, Ego, you always get on these runners too. Ego says he was in at 319 and out at 420. That's awesome. It's always good to hear you guys are making some cash. Um, let's see here. Star says, "What do you think about buying Apple?" Um, I just saw a chart that somebody else put up that looked, it's not even coming up. Oh, it's AAPL. Oh, I just seen I had a text miss too. Let me see. Let me see here. It's hard for me to kind of, look at these stocks on the fly like this to really see give my opinion on. But I mean, shit, if you just looking at this daily chart on Apple, I mean, it looks like good growth, right? Stair stepping, it came up, kind of took profits, came up again, but it did hit resistance here at 150, and that's kind of a double top. So, I mean, if I was going to look to enter Apple, I would say I would wait to see it break through this 150 and close the day above 150 before entering in. That would just be my take, just looking at the chart, right? Like, I mean, RSI is still pretty high, and that is normal for like when you see a stock, run up like this, where it went from 120 to 150, went on a nice big run up, got into this overbought territory. People take profits. It starts to cool down. Now it's in this 60 range. So, just from a technical standpoint, I would look for an entry point once it closes above 50. That's telling me that it's not going to hit this resistance level of this previous high, because it did try to run up here and hit that same kind of resistance level in that same area. So you really want to make sure that you can get through there before you get in for to try to swing trade it for a longer run. But again, I don't know anything about like what's upcoming with earnings or anything along those lines. Um, how can Robinhood not honor the circuit breakers? Oh, is that what's going on? Did they not? I don't see how they could do that. Let's see. 630, 635, 640, 645, 650, 655. Yeah, that's weird. Let me look at a 1 minute and see if that. I'm just looking at times to see the 5 minute jump because there should be a gap. There we go. That was a circuit breaker there. So this 1 minute candle jumps from 635 to 640. So there was absolutely a breaker there. And then right there again from 41 to 46. So they did. They stopped it for 5 minutes. And again, I might be, super late on getting to these comments. You guys might already figured that out. Thomas says they're breaking 8. Let's see here. Yeah, but see, every time we get down and break 8, we pop back up almost immediately. And that's this red line that I drew on the chart. Like, we've been able to consistently stay above 8. I mean, even there was one day we went down and touched like 760 something, 776, somewhere around there, and immediately popped back up. So I mean, we have supported 8. We really do. Oh, Thomas is saying the Robinhood platform didn't. So they allowed their damn, they're probably going to get in all kinds of trouble if that's true. They just I don't get it, man. Like how if that's true, I mean it just seems like they don't give two shits, right? uh and Rick says on the first breaker I saw when I logged in, they said most brokers have limited trading, but not us. Yeah, that's insane. I don't think that's legal, but I'm not sure, but I don't think it's legal. Um, Fluffer, what's up? Good morning. Thanks for joining. Wow, that's crazy. I want to look into that. I got to write that down so I can go back and check that out later. Just to see how that's even possible because I didn't know that was, and I still don't even think that's because I mean I know like for instance, and this may have nothing to do with the one to do with the other, but like for instance, like TD Ameritrade, they allow 24-hour trading. How's that possible? Well, I mean, when the markets are really only open, most exchanges are only open from East Coast time, what, 4 a.m. to, what would that be? No, then you got after hours. So like 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. is basically, I think, I could be off a little bit there, but what the exchanges are open, between pre-markets, the pre-market, the after hours, all that kind of stuff. But like TD Ameritrade will allow you to trade 24/7. And so I think the way that they only on certain securities though, like you can go in and buy Apple, you could buy the S&P 500, and those stocks are moving on Thinkorswim 24 hours a day. Now, how do they do that? I think kind of the same way that like foreign exchanges do. So basically, if you're trading on a foreign exchange, you're buying, the stock, but you're not necessarily affecting the stock price, so to speak, on the actual NASDAQ or the NYSE, at least not immediately. So what happens when you trade on a foreign exchange is, my understanding of this is, it's kind of like a plus or minus thing. Let's take CLOV for instance. If you're trading on a foreign exchange, and the U.S. stock market is closed, basically that exchange that you're trading through is acting like a bookie, right? So they're gonna take all the buys, all the sells, and then whatever the net difference is there. Let's say the net difference is like plus 1,000 CLOV. So now they need, when the U.S. stock market opens, that means they're going to come onto the U.S. stock market and buy those 1,000 shares that they need to make them whole on the other end. So they're basically taking on like a net long or a net short position, until the U.S. stock market opens to even out their books, and that's how that works. So I think that's what Thinkorswim does in after hours, or I guess like when the markets are closed and they allow you to trade certain securities. They're basically betting against you. They want you to lose because they want to be able to go then acquire that stock, um, for cheaper than what they sold it to you for. But that's just something they offer to their customers that want to be able to trade 24/7. So, I mean, that knowing that they're able to do that in after hours when the markets are closed makes me think maybe Robinhood might be able to continue to allow people to trade on certain securities even during circuit breakers. But that just doesn't seem right at all. I don't know. I'm gonna look into that when we get offline. Fluffer says, I need to find another stock like WST, owned for 3 years and still hasn't stopped going up. I'm on a long hunt for another like that. WST chart is a beauty. I have no idea what WST is, but we're about to find out. West. 253 to 424. Damn, that reminds me of the trade desk. So I don't know if anyone knows TTD. But that's a stock that, I mean, shit, like we're looking back. Let me see if I can get back to like a weekly view. And they just did a stock split, so it's a little bit different. So, I mean, if we look back way over here, this stock was trading for like, it's hard to even tell now because they just did a stock split. But I remember getting into this stock for, somewhere around $100. And I mean, at one point, it's, yeah, I can't even tell anymore. But at one point, basically, I got in at $100 and the thing was trading for like 600, and it was just natural growth like this and just continuously rising, and then they just did a stock split recently. So now instead of those stocks being $600 a share, they split it down to 60, which basically allows retail to get in, right? Like people who can't afford that $600 a share price tag, myself included. And so it's just been ripping like that too. Like from, you see back in September, it was at what, $39, and then now it's up to 97. Dropped back down to 46. Looks like, I don't know. I've always been a fan of the trade desk TTD. I don't have any position in it right now, but this is definitely one that chart I looked at of WST reminded me a lot of it. Um, Damn. I wish I would have got in right here. That's where the split took place. And I remember talking to a buddy of mine, like, hey, look, TTD just split. It's at $58. I bet you it runs up to all time highs again. And it's almost there. I missed the boat on that one. All right. What were we looking at? A lot of volume increase in TTD too, now that they did make it cheaper. I'm going to pull up AMC and just see what's going on. Looked like it was going to be kind of promising early on, but nah, it's down 2.5% now. GME up 1%. CLOV, we're flirting with $8 again. We're right back below 8. Let's see if we can get that nice bounce up. Looks like 16,000 shares sitting at 798, ready to buy. And another, yeah, that seems to be the biggest order, right at 798. We got a lot of support there. So at some point, I would imagine we'll kind of springboard off this, get through VWAP, and start our run. co-creator. I know I'm late too on a lot of these. You guys are. This was a conversation from earlier. I wish my thing showed me the time so I could see how far behind I am. But says his Robinhood app showed it has halted. They'll allow you to trade during, but the order gets filled after. Okay, yeah, that's how most go. So like usually during halts, like if you already have an open position, you can go in and set like a sell order so that you can get out of the position, or you could set a buy order if you wanted to jump in or get rid of your short or whatever, but it won't actually execute until the circuit breaker's lifted. So absolutely. TJ Tardis says you've already found one in Clove Fluffer. Absolutely. Um, John Doe says check out the NOK chart. Is NOK moving again? NOK was one. I mean, their float is just so big that this stock it's going to be hard to move. But holy shit, it's above 6 now. And this is more natural growth too. Like, I mean, yeah, um, and I know I'm on an extremely zoomed out view, but NOK was part of the original meme thing. But going back to like Wall Street Bets back then, back when it was trading at, like $4, this wasn't a squeeze play by any means. This was more based on, I think, their 5G technology and what NOK's future growth potential could be. And I remember reading a bunch of shit about this stock and buying leaps. They were like, God, I think I got like some $4 or $5 leaps for like 2023, so like basically I'm going to give this stock a lot of time to grow. And if they ever end up taking off, I think I had like 10 leap contracts. So basically the equivalent of 1,000 shares. And I just got damn lucky when this thing popped up. I think I got out somewhere around $8 on this day on January 26th. But this wasn't supposed to be a squeeze play. And I remember talking to, again, trades that I've missed out on, talking to a buddy of mine somewhere around like March, like, hey, it looks like Nokia's IV's going down now. And, it's no longer kind of mixed in with the whole meme thing. Might be a good time to like, open that leap position back up, when it was back down here to like pre meme mania. And I didn't do it. But you could see on their last earnings call, it gapped up from $4 up to like 460, so more than 10%. And I mean, yeah, this chart seems to continuously be rising, and I think it did kind of leave that meme status now to where it's more people are looking at it for the play it actually is. It keeps bouncing off this 9 EMA. If I was gonna try to get into this stock, I would maybe wait for the next pullback. I guess it doesn't really matter though. I mean, if you're looking to invest in something as a long-term investment, and I'm not saying that I necessarily would, and with Nokia, I'd have to look into it more. But if you were looking to get into this as a long-term play, what's the difference between 10 cents or 20 cents? But I don't think Nokia has a lot of short-term potential just because of the size of the actual float. It's going to be hard for this stock to move like it did when it ran up to $9 that day. This is more of a buy it, set it and forget it, and be looking for the long-term growth. All right. Let's see here. Is there any stocks that you guys want me to pull up in this fourth one? Because it doesn't seem like AMC's doing much right now. I'm going to keep an eye on Zoom, actually, for a little bit, just because, like I said, and it may be too late, but earlier this morning, I was thinking about, like, just getting in on Zoom for a kind of more of a long-term swing trade like I have going with DraftKings, like something that I'll get into now and maybe look to exit like in February. Um, just thinking that potentially it will run up to, you know, maybe start to get. I mean, this was the peak of like COVID and shit when it really came up here. I don't know if it'll ever get back to that, but even if to see it come up here and just test 500 and that's quite a bit of difference, $115, even just for it to get up there. And it is trending in the right direction. Just hit a crossover a couple days ago on the MACD. Just crossed over the 9, crossed over the 20, here. And so it's if I pull up my dailies, Let me see my studies. I'm looking at my 5-minute studies right now. Not much difference, but either way, like I said, crossed over. The nine's actually been running above the. That's my 20. I always get confused here. My 20, my 50, and a 100. Um, but it's been bouncing off this. I don't know. I feel like Zoom might be ready to run a little bit. The big one there, kind of like I said with Apple, is some resistance here at like this 404 mark, right? Like right in here. So I may even just wait and see if it actually breaks 400. And if it does, then I'd be looking for it to run up to at least 450 because that would be the next big resistance level up here. And that's quite a significant move. So something I'm keeping my eye on. So I mean, unless you guys have something else you want to look at, I'll just keep this one on because I'm a little intrigued by Zoom right now. Let me get my 5-minute study back up. There we go. All right. And while I was over there bullshitting about Zoom, we got CLOV busted through VWAP. Got above the 9 EMA, just getting above the 20. Maybe we can hold that. Those are levels that we've been bouncing off in previous days. If we just look back, not yesterday. It must have been the day before that. I can't even get it up here. But we were kind of holding this 9 EMA and 20 EMA on the last big run up a couple of days ago when we were green. I think that was on Monday. Every time we came down and kind of consolidated, we were consolidating off these levels. So it'd be nice to kind of start trading above VWAP today. All right, let me get back into this chat. The difference is nobody knows about West and everyone knows about CLOV. Yeah, I have no idea what West is. Uh, something with no manipulation. I feel you. I feel the same way. I mean, just being so heavily into like CLOV and GameStop, these other plays that I've been getting into. I've been trying to go, now at least I kind of told myself like I want to find some swing trades that aren't these heavily shorted, manipulated stocks, just so all my stocks aren't all like swinging together at the same time. So that's kind of why I entered DraftKings, and that's why I'm looking to maybe open a position in Zoom here. And honestly, it wouldn't even be bad to maybe get in now and take a little bit off when it hits 400. In case it finds resistance there, but I might wait till it breaks through 400 before jumping in. I haven't decided. I'm gonna look at this a little bit today after the stream. I understand buying dips lowers the average price of shares. What happens when you sell a portion? Does the highest price stock you own sell first, or oldest held stock sell first? I mean, it really depends on how your broker does it, but I always just look at it as like my average cost, right? So if I've averaged my cost down to 10 and the stock runs up to 20 and I sell half, I guess from a wash sale perspective, it just depends on how your broker does it. They may raise your average cost up, just so you can really get an idea of where your profit and loss are. But I mean, for me, if I averaged into something at 10, my cost basis is 10. So if I sell half at $20, I doubled up, and the other half that I still own, I still bought that for 10, right? That's the way I kind of always look at it. But a lot of times your brokers might handle that a little bit differently and report it differently for wash sale purposes, just so you can kind of see where your new average is at. John says, I wouldn't be concerned about Wall Street bets. Their future growth is unreal. 5G, baby. Taking off 1.5 billion shares traded. Yeah. No, I like I said, I was in Nokia for the long haul as a as a like a play for to be like a 2-year play, 3-year down the road play. But then, I mean, shit, when it jumped up to like $9-8 on that crazy ass day, I got out because it was like, this was something I was expecting it to do over 2 years was double. and now I was able to double in a matter of 3 months. You got to take your profits, and then you can always get back in when it lowers. And I wanted to get back in when it fell back down to 3 or 4, but I know I've said on here too many times, I'm always looking to I don't want to be in too many plays at once. It's hard to monitor and keep on top of what you're invested in. Kevin saying IMMP. I don't know nothing about that one. And my bad too. I know some of you guys have been like, I've been saying I was gonna look into stocks like after we sign off and stuff before, and I just been getting really busy. I'm starting work next week, so I got a bunch of stuff I need to take care of. But yeah, I don't know much about this one. It does look like it just crossed over on the MACD. And let's see here. This is my 20. There's the 50. I mean, yeah, it was in an oversold state a while back. Crossed over the MACD recently. Kind of in that same scenario as CLOV, where like if you were really looking to ensure yourself that this is going for ready to start trending upwards, you'd really want to see the price maybe hold above some of these levels or look for a bullish crossover. So we'd want to see like this. I guess first what would come would be like this 20 crossing the 5, because those are faster moving averages, right? And then next what you would see is like the 50 crossing over the 100, and keep seeing those bullish crossovers. But it does look like it's trending in the right direction. It looked like it got a lot of volume the other day, 843,000 compared to, you know, average volume coming in the 100 to 300 zone. So yeah, again, I don't know much about the stock though, so it's hard to say. Oh, Thomas said the same exact thing I did. If you bought at 20, then 10, your average is 15. Yeah. Um, what buys and sells first? Let's see. Okay, so more like for tax reasons. I'm just catching up on what you guys were talking about. I'm not. I mean, obviously, I'm not an accountant. You guys know that, but I think your broker's gonna sell like whatever makes the most sense for you for tax purposes. Um, and at the end of the day, it's really gonna come down to like they most brokers, like for instance, like I know like my Schwab, it reports out to me my wash sale status as opposed to my profit and loss. So um let's see, Lisa's saying take a look at ADIL. This is a daily chart right now, trading at 247. This screen is so damn small for me. It's a lot of times it's easier for me to look on bigger screens, but it does look like maybe kind of a double bottom there. Um, in terms of any sort of like bullish indicators, everything's going down right now, but it does look like the MACD starting to curl up and go green. Stocks up 7% on the day. I don't know about any news. Let me see. CEO op-ed featured on NASDAQ.com. Pain relief potential in preclinical trial. But that's all older news. So nothing newsworthy today, at least that I've seen. If we look at the 5-minute chart, yeah, it's absolutely ripping today. But that looks like a low ass volume. 6,000, 2,000. Not sure what the float on this one is. And I don't remember where I used to be able to get that information in here. I'm gonna have to do some digging into that one, because I know I used to be able to just pull that up. Huh. But yeah, I mean, if you just based off the, I've been looking at things more from a swing trade perspective. Um, it does look like it's ready to maybe, flip directions. But this chart also looks, pretty choppy. I mean, if you look, it went up to $4 here, and it's still trading in that range. Like if we were to, just take out let me see, and this is hella long ago too. Um, I mean, it's still kind of like it hasn't been able to get above this $4 mark from a long time ago, and it's still kind of like down here too. I know this is a sloppy ass drawing, but um, I don't know. Let me pull this back up. Why can't I get my? Oh, there we go. I want to get back to the clicker. All right. Target short seller says when they want to run, it happens. Look at SoFi, 700 million shares out. It's going up 7%. Yeah. Speaking of volume, what are we at today with CLOV? 4 million almost, 3.9 million. Looking to bounce off VWAP right now. Um, Hopefully we can hold up here, keep this, and maybe I'd like to really see some stair stepping. I'd like to see this stock start climbing up, and let's get back up there and test that 850 level. There's not a lot of resistance in here right now on level 2. Also not a ton of support either. I mean, in terms of like orders showing up on there, but yeah, I think if we could see some volume in here right now, maybe we could start breaking through and get up, and maybe get up to like 850 seems to be that spot. I did notice, I don't know if I said this morning when we started the stream, but Max Payne, I want to say when we started the week was at what 850, and today it's lowered to 8. Okay, so all that means is that I would imagine, and we haven't even looked at the option chain today, so let's take a look at it. I would imagine that there's more volume in at the 850 strike now. So looking here, 850, yeah, calls are now outweighing puts even at the 850 strike. So they're definitely going to try to keep it below 850 now, and keep it. But it looks like, oh yeah. So open interest at 850 is 11,500 and 61 or 1,200 on the put side. So huge discrepancy there. I mean, even if we were to pass 850 now, we could start to really see some momentum. So that's probably why they're trying to knock this thing down as much as possible. Man, this option chain just continues to be loaded up, though. I mean, it really gives us the opportunity and potential to strike at like any moment. Co-creator saying, if I bought at 13, 11, 10, and 8, if I sell a third of those shares, does my average stay the same or the remaining shares, or does it sell the lowest? I believe your average stays the same. I want to say whatever, your software is reporting your cost average is, it's basically what it's going to do is, I don't want to do the math right now, but let's say your average between all that you bought right there is 10, then your average is 10. And now if you sell a little bit at 12, you basically made $2 profit, and then your average continues to be 10, and it just stays there. So you're always, if that's why you're concerned about, to make sure that you're not selling some for a loss and some, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you bought them all for 10, it could have, at that point, you just got to look at it as you own all these shares for $10, as if you bought them all at once, even though you may have averaged up, averaged down, and got to that $10 range. That's your new average. That's my understanding of it always. Let's see. He said, I guess none of it matters because I'm not selling. Right? All right. And Malik, that's a good point too. Says depends on the broker. Some go first in, first out. Others, will set it up by tax lots. But at the same time, it kind of doesn't matter though, right? Because I mean, even if, let's just say, using that example that co-creator said, if you bought some at 13, let's say your new average was 10, and you have some that you had originally bought at 13, and you wanted to go sell at 12 to take some profits. Yeah, I mean, on paper, that's a $1 loss per share on that particular sale. But now, if that was the case, if it sold out your $13 ones, that's going to bring your whole cost average down. So now when as the stock continues to go up, you're just going to make more of a profit on the lower shares you bought. So it's all going to average out at the end of the day. And that's why for me, I always just kind of keep it at, like, in my head, okay, my cost average is 10. So now it's easy for me to just figure out that, if now I'm up to 100 shares at $10, every dollar that moves up, I'm making a buck, or I'm making $100 for every dollar that moves up. That's the way I've always looked at it. DJ Tardis says ATOS is up today. Oh yeah, no shit, 17% on the day. When are we gonna get that day with CLOV? Damn it. Um, looks like BNGO started ripping too. BNGO's up 2.4%. I mean, nowhere near what ATOS is doing, but damn it. You know what, too? And this is, I keep saying this, but like with ATOS, after we didn't hit that gamma squeeze, I kept saying that I was going to look for it to bottom out below 3. And it did. It got down here below 3, right around here. And this is where I wanted to make that entry point. I just didn't have the dry powder to do it. But yeah, I mean, once this thing, and who knows, it still could end up going down. It might just be flip-flopping around right now. But once it ends up actually popping back through and going bullish again, I think this thing's going to run up and go get past this previous high of 10. That's what I think, at least. So still something that I have on my watch list. I'm just not doing much with it right now. I want to take a look at the hood and see what's going on. So it's bouncing off this what is this? The 50. Bouncing off the 50-day moving average right now, looking to bust back through VWAP. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with this stock. GameStop's back down below VWAP, trading at 153. Looks like it caught resistance twice today in this 157 range, and it's falling back down. Just taking a look around. AMC still kind of tumbling down 3.8%. SOS. Why do I have that on my watch list? SOS is up 5%. The S&P 500 not doing much, still down $1.50 on the day. It did come up and touch 440-ish, 440.4, and now it's falling back down, and that's why we might end up seeing some stocks drag down right now too. Let me get this up here. So yeah, as you can see, I want to get rid of this. There we go. Too many lines on this damn screen. All right. All right, Scotty. I probably missed you, but have a great day, man. See you later. Let's see here. Fluffer says, "Beam me up, Scotty." Stars, remember the fallen. Rest in peace, ATOS. Yeah, it'll be back. I mean, I think that company, has a lot going for it. And, these pharmaceutical companies, that's what they do. They blow up and they either keep running or they come down and just kind of like settle out and then they run again. So I think ATOS will be fine. It's just kind of in this consolidation mode before it runs up again. But it'll get back up there. But again, that's why like with a lot of those, I'll jump into them with calls, and not like when something's already up super high like that. Like ATOS was up to like $8-9. it's like, yeah, I want to try to jump on and get that next ride if it blows up to 20, but I don't want to, let's say, go in and buy 1,000 shares and put down $9,000 or $8,000, because now where it's trading at now at $3, I'm out 6 grand. So that's when I'll take more of the gamble approach and, jump in with 10 calls, and maybe I can get those 10 calls for $200 now. That it's back down to $3. Yeah, I'm out $200, but that's a lot better than, sitting on a loss where now I feel like I almost have to hold until it pops back. So that's always been my strategy with it. But, um, there's something too, just kind of like if you believe in the company and you have the shares, kind of like we are sitting here with Clove, where you could just continue to add on to and just average costs down and build on your position at a cheaper price. Kaiser Sose, what's up? Thanks for joining. Nice to see you in here. Let's see. Okay, Ago's basically saying the same thing. Yeah, waiting for it to settle down before jumping back in. Yeah, it's hard to time those things, but honestly, the best way to go is just look for the bullish indicators. And sometimes I get a little antsy and I try to like jump in stuff a little early. BNGO is one that, with my short term plays, I've been doing that for sure. I mean, I have a long term position in it, but I keep trying to like guess, almost like, oh, okay, it looks like it's bottoming out. I'm gonna jump in now, and then it still trades sideways for another couple weeks or another couple months. And so it's always best to kind of see those bullish indicators before you get into something. Um, Mr. Joe, ATOS is up because I removed it from my wish list. And Ago says, co-creator, if you're selling on the low, you're doing it wrong, because he basically just said he wants to get rid of these 3 shares he bought. Yeah, I mean, I think AMC will go on another run. I really do. I mean, there's just so much retail momentum behind it. Even if I don't care what comes out. If all of a sudden they say, because of the Delta variant and COVID, we're gonna shut down theaters for the next year, you'll probably see even more retail apes running in and doubling their position on it. And then you'll see an AMC pop. Um, but yeah, I would say, like, once you're able to, I don't know what you got in at, but if you're able to get out for a profit, and you might as well hold, because I think it's gonna run. I think it'll have another run up here where you'll be able to just like dump for a profit and then get out. But sometimes, if you're only down a little bit, cut your losses and move into something else. I mean, it definitely works both ways. Levi says, took advantage of the wide bid ask and ATOS, bought some $1.50 calls, already up 45%. Hell yeah. Just make sure, if that bid ask is so wide, make sure that you're I'm sure you already know, but you're doing limit orders when you're exiting too. Yeah, make some money on that ride. I'm happy for you. Let's see here. Yeah, Lisa says, I'm bag holding ATOS at this point. I'll just write it out. And I see Ago, you're taking the words right out of my mouth. I think ATOS is coming back. It just might be one of those things like Clove, where anytime you see a stock move and rip up by that much that fast, you're gonna then see like some drawbacks, some profit taking, and some sideways trading, consolidation before the next big run up. And I'm sure that's coming with ATOS. And there's also some potential catalysts upcoming with ATOS too. So I mean, even just from a technical and a fundamental standpoint, I think the ATOS stock is going to be back. Um, and I don't know, I don't have the exact dates in front of me, but I know there is some phase 3 stuff that's upcoming. And they're also doing something, I think, with like I could be mixing this up with another place, but like COVID nasal spray and some other. So even with like the rise of the Delta variant coming in, that could end up playing big with the ATOS as well, I believe. So, let's see here. Target short seller says, why are they keeping CLOV just above $8? Yeah, so Max Payne this week is now at $8. So they don't want to let us get above 850 anymore. If you look at this is just from a market maker's perspective, right? So if you're a market maker and you're looking at CLOV for this week, um, basically a 1 million share differential between calls and puts at the 850 strike, and then at the $9 strike, another million shares. So if we look at the delta on those, let's see here. I'm going to add the delta in just so we can take a look. I thought I already had it in there, but it disappeared. The delta on that 850 call is 0.27. That's going to continue to decrease as we stay under 850. So that basically means that they own 270,000 shares, let's guess, to hedge against us passing 850. Well, every minute that goes by, every hour that goes by leading up to Friday, they're going to continue to be able to dump those 270,000 shares. Like right now, it even just went down to 0.26. So they're able to get rid of those. Now, as this price increases and we cross 850, eventually that's going to continue to go up. And now they're going to have to hedge those shares, right? So, I mean, that's, and I know you know this. I'm just explaining it kind of for everybody. So, it's like, that's where that max paying comes in. They don't want to see it at 850 because then they're going to have to buy those extra shares, and buying those extra shares could potentially push us even higher and, cause us to start, moving up the chain. And that's what they're trying to avoid. So I think that's why they're trying to keep this stock pinned around $8. But they did let it get away from them earlier. On Monday we got up to 850. I think yesterday we got up past 850 too. So, volume on CLOV right now is 4.5 million. I just saw that. Thomas asked that. Ploria, thank you. Says 72 people on the chat, only 42 likes. Yeah, let's try to get that up there. I think it helps. I think it helps kind of get the algo juices going and getting more people to, getting this video to pop up to more people. So it would definitely support the channel. So if you have the ability to, absolutely hit the like button. One thing, I don't know if you guys ever watch YouTube on your iPhones. Yeah, sometimes I watch Tar Heel in the afternoons, while I'm doing things around the house, working in the backyard, whatever. And I could never figure out how to thumbs up a video from an iPhone. Maybe I don't know. Is there somewhere you have to back out or something? The settings you have to go to like it, but I can't figure it out. John Doe says ALB earnings today could be a good swing. Let me see here. ALB's at 212 right now. And speaking of earnings, so earnings are real tough to play, but let's see here. Damn, it's been climbing pretty consistently. And that's the 20-day moving average. It's banging off of. So now this is what we're looking at here is the 20, 50, and 100. Yeah, so it's been kind of bouncing off this 20 up to 250 right now. Been running for a while. And if we come over here to my Thinkorswim, ALB, they actually show you what normally happens in earnings, which I really like about this app. So, this midline that you see here is what happens to IV volatility. And this is why a lot of times it's not good to hold options contracts into earnings, because your IV, it goes down significantly. It's referred to as earnings crush, IV crush. And so your call options a lot of times will lose a lot of money just because a lot of people will dump at earnings, and now the IV will go down, and you'll lose that Vega boost that you were getting. But just looking at this, it looks like previous times, um, yellow is what actually happens, and green is what Wall Street's expecting. And it looks like the last 3, 4, 5 quarters they've beat out Wall Street estimates, and it's worked out significantly for the stock. So I mean, this is where it was trading at on the day of earnings, took a dip and then ripped up higher. On going back to Q1 2020, it just ripped right off the gates. Going back to Q4, and that's where it pretty much met Wall Street earnings estimates. It actually traded lower. And shit, even the last earnings report. This is why earnings is so tricky. On this last earnings report, it looks like they beat the street estimates, but at the same time ended up gapping down and trading lower. I don't know what it ended up doing shortly after that. It looks like it ended up going on a nice little run, even though in the short term it dipped. So a lot of time, and that's something we've talked about even with regards to what could be happening upcoming with CLOV. It's like, a lot of times right after earnings, you'll see a rug pull where, some bigger players, institutions will kind of just like sell immediately as earnings are announced. And what's that going to do? That's going to flush out people who are going to get scared, like, oh shit, earnings were bad, and dump their shares. And now they'll just come in and buy them up at a cheaper rate. And, but yeah, I mean, if you were going to swing something like that, it does look like they've been absolutely, beating earnings in most of their previous reports. And that should have the stock continue to climb. In the future, but I wouldn't go on any sort of short-term plays. If you were going to try to play options, I would put yourself out there to protect yourself, maybe 6 months. And or if you're doing shares, just know that you might see a dip immediately after earnings comes through. Let me see here. I'm going to try to get Zoom back up here. All right, what are we looking at? Got 30 $10 contracts for VIH. Let's hope they announce that merger. Yeah, I'm gonna jump in on that too. I'm just waiting for some other funds to settle, but I think I am. Dan had hit me up yesterday, on Reddit. I don't know if Dan's in here today, but we were, just to see what I thought, and it's like, I just like anything, I was looking around Twitter, Reddit, everywhere else, and there's a lot of positive sentiment and a lot of negative. There was some negative stuff that I saw out there too, just people that are kind of anti-SPAC, more so to speak, but. I mean, shit, small float, loaded option chain, high cost to borrow is what we saw. I mean, it definitely has the potential. So I think if I was going to get in on VIH, which I'm probably more than likely going to do, maybe even later on today, I might move some stuff around once we hop off the stream and look at this. But I actually think I might like this February. I mean, I know yesterday I was talking about September's because I can get the 1250 for probably, there's no bid on it right now. So I might be able to jump in on this at a lot of low open interest though too, which is kind of scary. In terms of being able to get out, not a lot of volume in here, but if the stock takes off, we'll see volume increase and you'll be able to get back in. So anyways, I was thinking about going for these September ones and throwing maybe a bid out there for like 7 cents and seeing if it gets filled. Right now they're trying to sell it for 10. But then I was just thinking, so for $7, but capping myself at 44 days, I can go way out here and give myself all the way to February, and the 1250 strike. Maybe at that point I go out to the 15 and see about getting filled at 10 right in the middle here. $10 a contract, and that gives me 200 days basically And really all we're playing off is a gamma squeeze, right? Is this to actually happen before August? But now if it doesn't, I'm still got some money in the game for later. So that's what I was kind of thinking after reevaluating it yesterday. But I haven't opened the position yet. I'm probably gonna do that after we sign off today and go in and probably do the same thing. Buy like maybe you know, oh, you said you got $10 contracts. What strike did you go with? Just out of curiosity. I just reread your comment. So you went with the 10. Shit, if you went August, looks like, I mean, shit, the potential's there. And honestly, it's getting up there right now where it's kind of getting close to 10. It's at 989. So if we were to see something happen and it pops past 10, we could see this thing really take off. Obviously, the cheapest play is going to be with August expiration, but then you're only giving yourself, what do we got left? 16 days. So, and a lot of times that's what I end up doing, because you can get in for a lot cheaper. What phase do you think we're in with Clove? I saw the chart you put up a while ago. Are we in depressed phase? Feels like it. Yeah. Nah, I feel like we're here. I mean, we're right at this $8 mark. Even if we're in a dollar, looking at a daily range, an hourly range, a 4 hour range, they have not been able to get us to close below $8. I mean, shit, even if you look at these 5 minute candles, they can't get us to close. We dip down there, but we pop right back up. And so we're at the bottom. That's what I think. I mean, I've been saying it for a couple days now, but I really think it's safe to call this the bottom now. We kind of thought we were at that point going back a couple weeks when it was like, okay, maybe 12's the bottom. All right, maybe 10's the bottom, but we weren't seeing it like this. Like, and I'll just pull it up on this chart. But again, I mean, this has almost been 2 weeks now, 3 weeks where they cannot get us below 8. This one day we gapped down and started the day at 786, and even went as low as 770, but we closed that day at 828. And every single day, I mean, we're just continuously bouncing off this $8 mark. So to me, and then we do see that the MACD now 3 days in a row is green. It's just a matter of time. I think that's my take. I really think that we're gonna make a move here at some point. Let's see. Thomas says they're trying so hard to break 8. Let's hope for a double bottom. Absolutely. Oh, by the way, I didn't even notice. So we're 10 minutes away from me signing off. So that may have been the bottom we were looking for right there, right? We're gonna start trending green now before I sign off today. Let's see. Josh says the only thing this is going to go up is that DOJ inquiry and the investigation get dropped. That is the only way. I don't believe so, Josh. I mean, the only reason I say that is I feel like the DOJ and the SEC stuff, one, the companies responded to it. So I don't imagine that they're going to say anything else. And two, um, if they don't find anything, I don't know what they're actually going to announce. I don't know if there will be an announcement. If there is, that'd be great for the stock. That could serve as a potential catalyst. But um, I don't know. I feel like it's already priced in. So, you know, if there's nothing comes of it, we'll go up. Even if something comes of it, we're gonna rise up because now people know what it is and they're gonna like maybe pay a fine and move on, and we'll see the price go up. I think that all of that information's already been priced into the stock. Um, I think earnings, expansion, all that kind of stuff is going to continue to be good news that'll move the stock. But we're at a manipulated stock. So, even yesterday, good news. We saw what happened with that good news. We saw an increase in volume. We saw more retail interest, maybe more institutional interest. And then we got hammered down again. But they can only hammer it down for so long. I mean, at some point, they got to cover. At some point, um, this thing will run, and it's just a matter of what it's going to take to push us over it. And again, that's just my opinion. You know, I've been wrong before, and I could be absolutely wrong, and you could be perfectly right. That's just, that's what makes this great, is that we can have these conversations and see different perspectives. Yep, Thomas says by all indicators we've had perfect setups for a breakout. Um, Badass Dad's Cast. It went with the August calls. They made me buy at 50 cents, even though it's at 10 cents now. Yeah, that wide spread. That's what. So, like, when you put those in, you want to really make sure you do limit orders, and just wait. Someone might come in and fill you or whatever. Like, even if you're willing to pay 50 cents, or let's say you're what you would have rather got in at 30 or 40, put a limit order in for 40. You might get filled for less, but there just seems like there's nothing on the bid right now. Like, no one's trying to sell these calls, which is pretty crazy. I mean, no one's trying to buy these calls. It's all just in on the ask. So I don't know. It looks kind of weird. I'm not used to seeing that low of volume on the option chain. But again, shitload of open interest. So the interest is there to make this thing run if it can push past 10. We might have found a little diamond in the rough, or we might have found something we're just pissing money away on. If they do announce that the investigation gets dropped, do you think they do that at earnings or as an individual news? I don't know. I mean, from a strategic standpoint, like, I don't know that the company cares too much about the stock price. And I know I've said this before. I mean, I don't mean that they want to mess over, or screw over retail investors, but the fact that they did you know, the cashless thing for the warrants and all that other stuff just tells me that, like, they don't need the cash right now, and they know that this company's going to grow. Maybe they even know that the investigation's getting dropped, and maybe they would put it out at earnings. I don't know. I mean, that's all speculation. That would be awesome. I do think that getting that announcement would make us that would serve as a catalyst. Godfather says, even if we have a bad earnings, stock will stay at 8. Yeah, I think we found the bottom. I really do. Like, I mean, shit, look at all the institutions that have been buying into this stock at these price levels. I mean, they know that this stock is undervalued here. So again, even with bad earnings, shorts are just going to keep putting it down, and you're going to see more, I think, big players coming in to buy it up at these cheap prices. So curious to hear your thoughts going into CLOV's earnings. I remember it sold off really hard. So what happened on that last earnings is they actually beat estimates, and I thought it was a good earnings call. This is, let's see, but it really didn't sell off too much. Let me get rid of all my shit over here. Studies, remove all studies. There we go. So here we're. I'm gonna take this question off the screen so we can see. All right, so right here was the earnings call, right, on 5/17, and we started this day. I mean, the stock was already starting to decline. We started this day at 758 and got hammered down after the earnings to what, like 684. Ended up touching 652. So I mean, it was a significant dump after the earnings, but the earnings call actually went pretty decent. I thought it was, but shortly after that, like, Hindenburg put something out that said, "See, they're lying. They said they had 200 bodies under contract, and in the earnings call they said they only had 180 or whatever the hell it was." But anyway, it was just some bullshit that they tweeted out, and so the stock dropped. I think this happened because the earnings call was in pre-market, so we had closed the previous day at 753. Actually gapped up off the earnings news about 10 cents, and I want to say we were up even more in pre-market too. Like, the stock was starting to run, and it had some gamma squeeze potential, and it was like ready to let loose. I think we needed to get past $8 or something like that, and then that Hindenburg tweet came out and we got hammered back down. But then look what happened shortly after that. I mean, shit. That was like a short-term knee-jerk reaction, and then we started kind of stair-stepping up, moving in the right direction. I know I turned off my MACD and everything, so you can't see it right now. But we had some bullish crossovers, all that, and this is all within. We're looking at days right now, so that's 1 week, and that's 2 weeks. Basically, 2 weeks after earnings is when we went on our huge run-up. So. We got hammered down initially off the knee-jerk reaction of, kind of the fake news that Hindenburg put out there. But shit, after that, we bounced right back almost immediately, within a couple days. And I think, again, so you see the stock get hammered down like that, but there's big players that know that it's undervalued at those levels, and they're going to come in and buy it right back up. And that's kind of what I would expect to see, next week too. So if all of a sudden, earnings maybe miss by a little bit, or we have a beat by a little bit, we'll probably get attacked with some FUD. There's always going to be something negative you could put out there about a stock that is not making money right now, right? But that's part of the growth process with this company. They're not making money, but they're working to it, right? So as they continue to bring on bodies under management and make these partnerships with these, just like they did with Value H and everybody else, they're going to continue to bring in more customers, more lives under management, and they're in this DC model. And so now they're going to start creating more profit, more revenue, and I shouldn't say profit, more revenue, and eventually that revenue is going to outweigh their expenses, and it's going to turn into profit. And then it's going to start being more profitable. They're going to continue to grow. And now all of a sudden, bam, we're going to like slingshot to the amount of money that they're actually making. So, but I guess to get back on my point, there's always going to be some FUD out there that you could point out about a company like that is not turning a profit right now. But investors know that they're not turning a profit and are in this for the growth potential. So, and they have cash on hand. They're not in debt. They're not in danger of going into debt anytime soon. So, yeah, even if we see a little dip, I think Godfather was right. Even if we have bad earnings, I think we're going to stay at 8. I really do. I think that's our base. That's where we're at. What happened to the AMA video? Okay, so my understanding, and I had pointed this out on the last roundtable we had, is usually there's a quiet period before earnings. Where a company can't put out information. They don't want them to impact the stock price or manipulate the stock price or anything like that. So it kind of makes it, I don't remember exactly what the quiet period is, but I know there's a specific time frame. And I had pointed that out when we were on that roundtable last time. Like, I guarantee you that's what it is. And I don't know for sure if that's the case. I could check in with the mods like the CLOV subreddit, or even Tar Heel might know because he's very active in that stuff. But that would be my guess, is that it has to do with they're not going to be able to release it until after earnings now. And that's probably just maybe an oversight either on, the r-clove subreddit, or on their part in like signing up to do this. And then someone probably said, hey, we can't release that video. We're in a quiet period, or something along those lines. So it should be coming out. I would imagine it should be coming out probably well aligned right with earnings, as the earnings come out next week. Let's see here. What type of news we need to get volume? I mean, it could be anything. An earnings beat, as you pointed out, it could be the announcement of a DOJ, SEC, like the results or findings of that. It could be more expansion. I mean, shit, we saw volume pour in yesterday, immediately, like off of that expansion news. We just kind of got a lid put on us by the by short sellers, is what I think. But I mean, going back to yesterday as a volume comparison again, I forgot I was on a 1 minute. So that announcement came out at 6 a.m. And if you look at the volume beforehand, it was like 200, 300, 5,000. Just here. I'll even switch to a 5-minute view just to make it easier to look at. But yeah, so going back yesterday, before that, our volume on a 5-minute candle was anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000. All of a sudden, once that news came out, volume jumped to at least 100,000 on every 5-minute candle. And then when we got to the open, we were looking at 1.5 million, 1.3 million, and then we hit 859 and got hammered down. We do look to be crossing back over VWAP. Potentially if we could break above these levels here, like get back above 811, 812, maybe close a candle up here at 813, we could see a little bit of a run. Times up perfectly with me signing off, right? Target short seller says, look at the open interest. I'll take a look at that before I leave, and then I'll try to check anything else that's but I might be skipping over some comments just because I'm gonna have to sign off here shortly. So CLOV, August 20th, open interest, 1250 strike, 32,000 calls versus 4,000 puts. Yeah, I mean, this gamma squeeze potential is there, and like the delta on this strike right now is 0.10. So as we move upwards, even if it was to happen today or next week, this all comes into play. I mean, it has to go a little bit further out for this to really make a difference. But if you look, like right now, we don't get to a 0.9 delta till $6. So that's basically $2 in the money would get us to a 0.9 delta. And what I mean by that is, in order for these 1250 calls to really kick off, we'd probably need to be at about 1450 for those to be completely hedged. But they're going to continue to hedge as we get closer and closer to that strike price. And, this $9 strike and $10 strike are nothing to laugh at either. I mean, that's 23 to 5, 24 to 10. So, shit, any sort of upward movement in this, screw a short squeeze. We're going to see a gamma squeeze as we start to cross 9, 10, $11. And I think that's why they keep hammering us down and trying to keep us below that mark. All right. I got to jump off. I'm going to see here. So thanks, Stars, for coming in. Co-creator, what's up? I'm not Fluffer. Let's see. Good job to Thomas. From double bottom to triple bottom. Just trying to catch up with you guys. I know I got behind on the chat. See everybody on Power Hour. Yeah, Levi, thanks for bringing that up. Tar Heels Power Hour today. And today is also the day that Tar Heels doing that thing with Jonah, right? I believe. Either way, go check out Tar Heels channel. I believe that's today during Power Hour. So that should be amazing. Everybody else, DJ TARDIS, Ego, Doc Tampa made it to I feel honored. I haven't seen Doc Tampa in here in a while. Good morning. Pablo says, damn, you're still on. I know I'm late right now. All right, later, guys. I'll see you guys. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the support. I'll see you guys. I know I'll be on there watching Tar Heel later, so make sure you guys go check it out. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.